So some animal, some barbarian walks into an elementary school, kindergarten to fourth grade, murders his mother, and slaughters little kids, as well as 6 adults. And he really slaughtered them. I mean, almost nobody escaped with just injuries. He made sure they were dead. You know, it's been a long time since I walked into a kindergarten class or nursery school or first or second grade class with these little kids there. They're as innocent as can be. Mom and dad send them off to school, pack their lunch, off they go, make sure they're washed, they brush their teeth, they're wearing their little kids' clothes, have their pencils and their rulers and so forth. Go to school, arts and crafts, some English, some reading, some math. Some of them are there half day, some of them are there all day. And some piece of crap walks into this school and mows them down. And they're not talking about the crime scene because I can't imagine the crime scene. As I say, very few escaped alive. You're not hearing about a lot of injuries of kids who've survived. There's a couple. But he killed 20 children. And these adults, too. There have been all kinds of reports about whether he's mentally disabled or so forth. I intend to wait to find out more facts. Because these stories tend to break and change over the course of a day or two, and I don't need to be the first one to report these things. But the bottom line is some barbarian got into that school with a mission to slaughter babies. And he succeeded. There is evil in the world. There's evil around us. There's evil among us. There always will be. There always has been. Some people are born haters. Some people are born killers. Some people are born with sin, and that's just the way it is. Now, that said, I'm having to respond to the mayor of New York, the mayor of Boston, what certainly is coming, because every time there's a horrific tragedy, there's an effort to steal more of our liberties and more of our rights. And people get very emotional about it, as I am right now and as you are. But people have to be reminded. Banning guns doesn't change any of this. You have a nutcase in Norway. He went, I believe, to that camp, that isolated camp. Remember that, Mr. Producer? And he went with his weapons, and he kept reloading them and reloading them and reloading them, and nobody was there to stop him because nobody else was armed. I think he killed 85, 87 people, one man. And under the laws of Norway, what did he get, 11 years or 18 years like that? Something like that. So we know this isn't the answer. I have a few thoughts on this. I don't know if they're the answer or not, but it certainly can't hurt. We don't promote faith and morality in our classrooms anymore. That may not fix everything. As I say, there is evil, but we don't even talk about it. I saw Rudy Giuliani on Fox. He said, everybody put your politics aside. We have to have a national discussion on this. National discussion on what? Shouldn't we have a national discussion on what's happening to our culture? Shouldn't we have a national discussion on why we as a nation have banned God from the classroom? I'm not saying to proselytize. I'm not saying that we want a theocracy. Of course not. But what about the forces against evil? Where do we find these forces? How can we promote them? How do you create a just society, a civil society? More government? You know, you want to have a national discussion? Let's have a national discussion. We don't teach right and wrong, good and evil. We teach moral relativism, secularism. Our nation wasn't founded on any of that. Again, I'm not saying this is the answer to everything. It's certainly not the answer to a nutjob animal who goes into a classroom and slaughters 20 people, 20 little children, 6 adults, and murders his mother. That's a nut. That guy's nuts. But this obsession with attacking law-abiding citizens, millions of us, is simply unacceptable. And right out of the box, we have a television cable network, MSLSD over there. They're pumping this from day one. We've got 2 mayors of 2 large cities in New York and Boston pushing this immediately. Even the president's comments kind of suggested it. Why? I even got an email from a friend. I'm not going to reveal who it is. Very smart guy. No, he's a liberal. He's a friend. And within a couple hours of this, and maybe within minutes of it actually being reported, this slaughter, he writes me in part about rewriting the Second Amendment because of the ambiguity of the Second Amendment. Rewriting in a way that all sides can live with. And it seems to me too many politicians and their supporters say, gun control. First thing on their mind. Like gun control equals controlling evil. Well, we know it doesn't. And here I am having to discuss this when those little bodies and the adults haven't even been removed from this elementary school. It's not even an elementary school. It's K through 4. And I'm having to discuss this. Because constantly our rights under the Bill of Rights are under attack. A mass murdering animal was loose this morning in an elementary school. He murdered 20 little kids. I mean little kids. And his mother. And 6 teachers and administrators who were no doubt trying to protect them. And right away, we have to get into this crap about gun control? Like that would fix it? No.